This explainer. Today, we're stepping back in time, looking far beyond the fairy tales and legends, to uncover the highly engineered reality of the 12th to 14th centuries. Prepare to completely change the way you view medieval architecture, because we're going to explore the hidden rooms, the secret passages, and the incredibly complex daily life contained within these massive stone fortresses.
You know, for centuries, myths have spun these wild tales of secret rooms, mysterious tunnels, and hidden treasures buried deep within these structures. But as we actually examine these imposing, massive walls, a pretty fundamental question emerges. What was truly hidden behind them? Well, it turns out the truth is far more fascinating than the fiction.
Let's dive right into Chapter 1, the hidden passages.
When you look at those massive gatehouses and incredibly thick defensive walls, well, it's easy to assume they're just solid blocks of dead rock. But in reality, narrow passages were engineered directly into the stone itself. And they weren't designed for secretive cloak-and-dagger affairs. They had a distinct, highly organized purpose, connecting stairways, guard positions, and defensive chambers so a garrison could move swiftly and entirely unseen. It was just pure, practical military engineering.
Moving on to Chapter 2, the rooms nobody talks about.
The sheer scale of a castle's internal architecture is honestly just staggering. If you look past the exterior wall and into the heart of the structure, it reveals multiple levels of relentless activity. We're talking grand dining halls, upper chambers, and deep subterranean levels. Many of the spaces that might seem mysterious to us today were actually specifically designed to serve the complex machinery of everyday medieval life.
So when archaeologists actually examine these hidden spaces, they aren't finding dragon hoards or lost treasure. They're finding the true engines of survival. We're talking secure rooms specifically designed to keep grain dry, deep cellars to keep perishables cool, garderobes, which is just the medieval term for a toilet, complete with waste shafts built directly into the architecture, and of course, tactical guard positions. These spaces were intensely practical and absolutely essential for the castle to even function.
Which brings us to Chapter 3, water, the key to survival.
Water. It was arguably the single biggest headache for any medieval architect. During a prolonged siege, all the military might in the world meant absolutely nothing without a reliable water supply. Hidden beneath the stone floors were deep stone cisterns engineered to catch rainwater, surprisingly sophisticated wells, and highly complex drainage systems. This subterranean network was, quite literally, the absolute key to survival.
Now for Chapter 4, the secret tunnel myth.
We all know the popular legends, right? The dramatic, torch-lit escape tunnels stretching for miles to lead royalty to safety. But the historical evidence tells a much different, much more grounded story. Many of these alleged escape routes were, in fact, just deep cellars, service passages, or drainage channels. It was practical infrastructure that simply got romanticized by later generations.
In fact, modern archaeological surveys of these subterranean networks almost always reach the exact same conclusion. As one on-site observation noted, the flow rate here suggests a surprisingly sophisticated system for the period. Absolutely. It's clearly a drainage culvert, not the mythical escape tunnel. So the myth fades, but it's quickly replaced by an immense respect for the sophisticated water engineering of the time.
And finally, Chapter 5, life behind the walls.
Because behind all that stone was a carefully engineered world of relentless human effort. Across the varying floors, you had blacksmiths forging iron, servants navigating tight, winding spiral staircases carrying heavy supplies, and cooks preparing massive feasts. It was a complete ecosystem of survival, work, and defense, and it was all happening simultaneously.
Just take a second to imagine the sensory reality of this space. The intense heat of roaring fires, the heavy scent of roasted meat and wood smoke hanging in the air, voices echoing down the stone corridors shouting things like, "Keep clear, hot broth!" It was loud, it was chaotic, and it was intensely alive.
So, looking at the deep cellars, the bustling kitchens, the advanced drainage, and the massive storage rooms, a critical question really arises. Were castles just static military fortresses? The answer is a resounding no. They were complex, living, breathing machines.
The true marvel of the medieval castle doesn't really lie in the myths we've projected onto them over the centuries. The real mystery is not what medieval people imagined, but what they actually built. Their ability to engineer massive, self-sustaining cities of survival out of pure stone. Well, that's the real treasure hidden behind these walls.
So the next time you see a castle, you have to ask yourself, are you just looking at a fortress, or are you looking at a buried city?